All WWE superstars are highly trained professional athletes. Do not imitate or copy their performances or actions. Any copyrighted material featured in this non-monetized review has been selected as a small portion in relation to the original work. This copyrighted material has been selected for comment purposes and is allowed under fair use.
On January 27th, 1993, Andre the Giant passed away in his sleep. Andre was aged 46 and passed away due to declining health in Paris, France. Known as the 8th wonder of the world due to his height of 7'4" and weight of 520 pounds, Dave Meltzer said at the time, Andre was probably the second most famous wrestler on a worldwide basis, and correspondingly, probably the second biggest drawing card internationally in the history of the business. During the 1970s, Andre was undeniably the most famous wrestler in the world, the biggest international box office attraction, and the highest paid performer. WWE would of course go on to create the Hall of Fame as a way of honouring Andre the Giant. Andre was the first and only inductee in 1993. During this episode of Raw, The Fink asks the audience to stand as images are shown and the bell is rung 10 times. R.I.P. Andre the Giant. WWE Raw once again comes from the Manhattan Center in New York, and this guy seemed to already decide what his grade was for the show. Raw begins with Tatanka rushing out, and this Mike Myers lookalike in the crowd giving rather unenthusiastic chops in support. It must mean that it's time for matches. Our first match is Tatanka versus Damien Demento. Demento is being billed from the outer reaches of your mind. He spends a lot of time during the match talking to himself, but does get some offense in as well. Crowd chant "We want Flair" as the commentary team point out that Tatanka is still undefeated. He wins here as well. This is a rather uninspiring match, so I give it 1 1/4 Vinces. Next we get High Energy versus Von Krus and Iron Mike Sharpe. This is a squash match with a few nice moves. Good drop kick, nice finisher, but even so it's very short. Again, 1 1/4 Vinces. Next we see a shot of the crowd, and our friend from earlier is actually part of a group. I don't know why they didn't put WWF on t-shirts rather than those kind of dress-up shirts, but we'll leave that for now. Where else can you see a clown tackle a wave? We've got Doink versus Typhoon. Some decent mat-based wrestling from Doink, keeping Typhoon at bay. Some nice displays of strength showed that Typhoon wasn't clowning around. The finish came when Doink grabbed Typhoon's trunks, and I don't even want to know what else. This gets 2 Vinces. Next, we have the 1993 Royal Rumble winner Yokozuna versus Bobby Devito. Vince tried to call Hacksaw Jim Duggan on the phone, but struggled.
Matter of fact, I believe we have a telephone hookup with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Hello, Jim. No, I guess not. And I do believe we have Hacksaw Jim Duggan with us. Hello, Hacksaw. With it. Hello, Jim. Can you hear us? Somebody better tell Jim to cut his television set down. He can't hear us.
Hacksaw was due to face Yoko very soon. When Vince finally got a hold of him, he struggled to say his name like others before.
But I really believe in my heart I can knock that Yokozuna off his feet.
I think it's pronounced Yokozuna.
Well, whatever you call him, some Japanese name.
Anyway, back to this match.
Yokozuna
Wins a squash. 1 Vince. Main event time sees Lex Luger make his Raw debut. We'd seen attractive ring girls all night. This one even told us that steak tartare is raw. And it is. Steak tartare is raw beef with a raw egg yolk on top. Yummy. Whilst Lex was admiring himself, WWE introduced this ring girl, who seemingly wasn't quite to Lex's liking. So finally we get the match. Lex Luger faces Jason Knight. Commentators hype up Lex Luger versus Mr. Perfect for the future. Luger wins this match with a forearm and a pinky pin. Again, very uninspiring. It gets 1 Vince. Elsewhere, we see Bret Hart with a giant check that's awarded to the American Red Cross. This was from the Headlock on Hunger show that took place at Madison Square Garden. Vince interviews a returning Brutus the Barber Beefcake, who had been away for years due to a parasailing accident. He speaks of his parents passing away, getting divorced, the accident, but how Hulk Hogan was there to support him. It's quite a dark interview at times, and parts of the crowd start to boo and show little interest. It does provide our move off the show.
Desperate.
Vince interviews Todd Pettingale about WWE Mania and also interviews Money Incorporated. The current tag team champs come out and talk about the sob story that they'd just heard from Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and they flip a coin to see who will face him first. Jimmy Hart arrives, saying that they're wasting time and what would happen if they got hurt in this pointless match. Money Incorporated aren't interested, and a match is made for the next Raw. It's also announced that there is no Raw next week due to a dog show. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll get a Battle Royal, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake will face one of Money Incorporated. This show did amazingly well in the ratings, scoring a new high of 3. Sadly, that has not been reflected in the show quality, and I've got to say this is probably the weakest Raw we've seen so far. Obviously overshadowed by the sad passing of Andre the Giant. I give this Raw a passable 5 out of 10. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully, see you again next time. Bye for now.